right, Crackdown Season 2, Episode 3. Russia is threatening us with nuclear war. Go.
This week was nuts, and the competition to get on the crackdown was tight. Don't believe us? Juan Guaido is gaining international support in Venezuela. More emails got leaked, and this time it's from the Trump organization. And also, someone actually thought they could blackmail Jeff Bezos. And Russia is threatening us with a Doomsday Device. From WHIP, I'm Maya Tejada, and this is your WHIP Weekly News Crackdown. European countries, including the UK, France, Germany, and Spain, have officially recognized Juan Guaido as interim president of Venezuela. Guaido used constitutional mechanisms to declare himself interim leader of the country last month and quickly received the support of the United States. According to the BBC, the recognition from European states comes after President Nicolas Maduro defiantly rejected a deadline set for Sunday, February 3rd, to call for a new presidential vote. Maduro dismissed those calls and said he would not accept ultimatums. He has denounced Mr. Guaido's move as a coup. A majority of EU members backed Mr. Guaido, but others such as Greece and Ireland called for fresh elections and do not yet recognize him as the Venezuelan leader. Maduro's government has seen widespread corruption as well as hyperinflation and severe shortages of essential goods in the economy. Also, he's functionally acting like a dictator. Russia, an ally of Maduro's government, accused EU countries of interfering in Venezuela's affairs and attempting to, quote, legitimize usurped power. In an interview on Sunday, Maduro responded to questions regarding a potential war in Venezuela by saying, quote, everything depends on the level of madness and aggressiveness of the Northern Empire, the U.S., and its Western allies. President Trump told CBS that the use of military force remains, quote, an option. Since his candidacy, President Donald Trump has been under serious fire for his connections with Vladimir Putin and the Russian government, specifically because U.S. intelligence have found staggering evidence that the Russian government was involved with the hacking of DNC emails and a massive information campaign aimed at swaying the 2016 election in Trump's favor. Of these connections, one of the most serious involves the president's attempt to get a Trump Tower built in Moscow, with negotiations whose existence and timeline the president has repeatedly misled the public about. The president still largely denies this relationship, but this past week we learned a bit more. On Tuesday, BuzzFeed News obtained a series of internal Trump organization documents which showed that Trump-Moscow deal was very real, detail-oriented, and directly involved the elements of Trump's campaign. In short, the president's lawyer Michael Cohen and his associate Felix Sater believed that Putin's support was crucial to both the Trump-Moscow project and the election, and they plan to use Trump's public praise for Putin to secure that support. There's enough in this for a standalone episode, but in one email to Michael Cohen, Felix Sater wrote, quote, I arranged for Ivanka to sit in Putin's private chair at his desk and office in the Kremlin. I will get Putin on this program and we will get Donald elected. Buddy, our boy can become president of the USA and we can engineer it. I will get all of Putin's team to buy in on this. I'll take the ambassadorship to the Bahamas so I can fish and dive and be a hero to my kids. That, my friend, is the home run I want out of this.
Wow.
Whew. These negotiations are believed to be a large part of the ongoing special counsel investigation. The Trump-Moscow project ultimately never happened, but as we've covered in the past, interactions between the Trump team and Russia occurred throughout the election. Depending on how far these plans got, President Trump may be in some very, very serious trouble. But there's even more Russia in this week's crackdown. Hope you're not allergic. After the U.S. pulled out of a Cold War-era nuclear treaty and called out Russia for developing banned weapons of mass destruction, state-sponsored Russian media sources have threatened retaliation with the Poseidon, a, quote, doomsday device developed by the Russians. According to Business Insider, this is an underwater torpedo with a 100-megaton nuclear warhead. Long story short, it's a weapon that could erase a coastal city in an instant. The U.S. also has submarines equipped with nuclear weapons, so this could get pretty stupid. Needless to say, if they're used, there will be no winners. Mutually assured destruction is nuts. What a time to be alive. Stepping away from politics for a moment, Frank Robinson, a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer and the first black manager in baseball, died Thursday at the age of 83. USA Today reports that Robinson was one of the most influential figures in baseball, and his resume is full of accomplishments, including being the first MVP of the American and National Leagues and a 14-time All-Star player. Robinson was in a hospice care in Southern California with his family for several months before he passed. May he rest in peace. And for our last story before getting into campus news, it appears American Media Incorporated tried to blackmail Jeff Bezos. And no, we can't make this stuff up. In a post to Medium.com, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos called the National Enquirer, owned by American Media Incorporated, AMI, for blackmail. This all started a few weeks ago when the National Enquirer released a story that included intimate text messages between Bezos and the TV anchor Lauren Sanchez. After the story was released, Bezos hired Gavin DeBecker to head an investigation into the motives and sources of the Enquirer. In addition to Amazon, Bezos is also the owner of the Washington Post, which led AMI to fear that the findings of this investigation would be reported in the Post. For reference, American Media Incorporated is already under scrutiny after admitting to coordinating with the Trump campaign to buy and bury politically damaging stories. Their plan, according to Bezos, was to attempt blackmail with threatening emails to DeBecker's lawyer, Martin Singer. In the emails, John Fine, Deputy General Counsel of AMI, gave detailed descriptions of 10 sexually suggestive photos sent between Bezos and Sanchez. He then gave his terms. If Bezos would say that he had no knowledge of AMI having political motivations, the National Enquirer would not publish the photos. Needless to say, Jeff Bezos did not agree to those terms and apparently called them on their threat. The National Enquirer responded Friday by saying that they will, quote, thoroughly investigate the allegations by Bezos. That was a lot. Luckily, in campus news, we've got something that might help us simmer down. A Fox student at Temple University has created a handheld device called Calm, which uses vibrations to stop panic attacks within 60 seconds.
I don't think that was in the script.
To be a beaver. A Fox student at Temple University has created a handheld device called Calm, which uses vibrations to stop panic attacks within 60 seconds. According to Temple News, Daniel Kauser, a senior entrepreneurship and innovation management major, is the CEO and founder of the Koverick LLC, a medical technology company that designs tools to manage cognitive disorders like anxiety. Kauser came up with Calm, which is still in prototype stages, after seeing research for methods to stimulate the brain to thwart flight or fight responses. In 2018, Kauser's Calm pitch won the undergraduate track of the Be Your Own Boss Bowl competition hosted in the Fox School of Business. For our last story of the day, we've got an update on a case that is very close to many of us here at Temple. Joshua Hupperterz, who was sentenced to life in prison on January 17th for killing Temple University junior Jenna Burley in 2017, is challenging his first-degree murder conviction. David Nenner, who represented Hupperterz during the trial, filed a post-sentence motion with the Court of Common Pleas on January 24th. Nenner expects the appeal will be denied and sent to the Superior Court of Pennsylvania for review. He will argue that Dr. Kenneth Levy, a psychiatrist from the trial, should have told jurors that combining Xanax and alcohol could lead to homicidal behavior. Nenner said Hupperterz's roommate Jack Miley killed Burley to defend Hupperterz after a night of drinking and taking Xanax. Miley maintained that he did not have anything to do with her death. The defense is also raising a question of whether police have probable cause to search Hupperterz's apartment on September 1st, 2017, where they found DNA belonging to Hupperterz and Burley. On February 28th, Court of Common Pleas Judge Glenn Bronson will review the post-sentence motion on whether the guilty verdict was fair given the evidence presented during the trial. Bronson sentenced Hupperterz on Thursday to 1.5 to 3 additional years in prison for possession with intent to deliver, according to court documents. We've had some thick stories this week. Thank you for staying with us. We would give you a prize, but knowledge is its own reward, or something like that.
It's so wholesome.
Yeah. Check the description for important links and sources, and please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and all that fun stuff. Join us next week for more of the news you care about. From WHIP, I'm Maya Tejada, and this has been your WHIP Weekly News Crackdown.